Hi, my name is Ashley. I am one of the moderators of this community and also the person behind the blog You Stupid Fucks. If you see me glance off to the side, it's because there is a friend of mine in the room. Please ignore. Um, I am here to talk about the female characters in the show, and more importantly, their treatment in the fandom. I do not like comparing. I hate it. I hate comparing or tearing down one character or ship or anything to emphasize the importance of another. And when I originally decided to make a vlog for this, I was going to talk about essentially the problem that there is with saying you're a supporter for the LGBT community, or essentially saying that your shipping is being supporting, and then tearing down all of the female characters. I realize that there are inherent problems with this discussion as well. I don't think that I can accurately discuss my feelings on this unless I go into the whole issue with the female characters first. So there's going to be some comparing and contrasting here, which again, I hate, but I think it's the only way for anyone to really understand where I'm coming from. We have the very first season of the show, which I, for the record, I had watched none of the show until just last year. I caught up just at the start of the 7th season. So a lot of this is research and backstory and stuff that I'd known about Supernatural and I'd known about the fandom. I have known about it probably since its conception. I watched Smallville, saw maybe a clip or two here and there of Supernatural following. So all of this is coming from a sort of newcomer's perspective, an outsider looking in. And here's what I've seen. In the first season of the show, we had Sam and Dean. And we had John. We had no female recurring characters. We had Meg. We had Meg, who didn't appear until midway through the first season. And we had Mary as a very strong presence, but not really seen all that much. That's kind of changed with her backstory, where she appears a bit more, but still, over the course of the entire show. So then we have season 1, and that's great. That is a wonderful time. It's fun. It is shit your pants scary, honestly, in some cases. This is coming from someone who doesn't do horror well. Why am I watching this show? I know. But then we got to season 2. And first episode, tragic, painful, cry your heart out. And then second episode, where we have the start of it all. The start of where all of this comes from. We have the introduction of Ellen and Joe, who were intended to be long-term recurring female characters. I have looked and looked for more information on what Kripke was planning with their characters, on what he was going to do with them, on story plot things. Basically, the only thing that fandom knows is that they were supposed to stick around more. If anyone knows anything else, please tell me. But we know they're supposed to stick around more. We know that Joe was originally intended to be a love interest. Without argument, love interest. And fandom didn't like that. From the very start, fandom did not like that. And some people say that this comes from her character, how she was just a love interest. However, there are people who saw Joe as something more, who still see Joe as something more. And then there's the argument, well, they upped her character in the 5th season. They gave her more character development in those 2 episodes than she had in her 4 in season 2. They gave her more substance, more etc., etc. But there were people who liked her and who saw a character to her in her appearances in season 2. And it's not people who I watched this and I found a character slightly interesting, and then I went online and I read more. Oh, those opinions could work. No, these are people who met up and who I had opinions on Jo without talking to anyone in fandom. I found other people had the same opinions on her. I found that they had the same thoughts on her character, the same ideas with her. That's not a character that's just a token love interest. There's more to her than her feelings. And besides that, I mean, what is wrong with having a character who loves and who cares and who feels a connection to someone else? That's the most championed part of the show with Sam and Dean, isn't it? It's the most the relationships the characters have. The Winchesters, Castiel, how all of them relate to each other, all of their feelings, their connections. Let's be honest, that's one of the best parts of this show. And yet, a female character is teared down because she dares to feel something for one of the leads. Something that a lot of us have all felt. A lot of people who are attracted to males have felt at some point over the show some attraction to Sam, Dean, Castiel, Bobby, not going to discriminate. So why can someone on the show who feels the connection not have the same? But this is not a shipping argument. This is not getting into shipping or ship wars or anything like that. This is getting into the fact that not everyone, a large portion of the fandom hated Jo from the start because she was female. That's simply how it is to it. And because of that, the show writers got afraid. They got afraid because this is a cult show, basically. And they wrote her off. Her, and consequently Ellen. We get to season 3, and we have Ruby and Bella. Bella hated so much. Ruby eventually pretty much hated as well. I've seen discussions that they were called Rubella in terms because they were lumped together, not even considered their own entities because people just hated them. We have, in season 4, we have recurring characters of Ruby again, and Anna and Pamela. None of them really stuck around very long. Ruby stuck around till the end of the season. Anna popped in halfway through, then was written out. I have no idea what any plans for her character were. I don't know if they changed, I don't know what, but I do know that fandom did not like quite a bit of her as well. It all comes down to the same thing. They were killed off. All of them. Season 6, there was Lisa, there was Gwen. Both appear in a handful of episodes. One is dead, one is completely memory wiped. Her character, any development she had, erased. We had Ellie appeared in a couple episodes. She was nice. She was a breath of fresh air. She was a look into more of the shades of grey of the show, a monster. She was killed. And now where are we? Season 7. Jodie's appeared. She appeared in 2 episodes prior. She lives in an area where, presumably, since the guys are on the run from the Leviathan, we aren't going back to. Do we have recurring female characters this season? I don't think so. Do we have any? So, the argument that I know is going to be made, well, we don't have other recurring characters either. We don't have Cass anymore. We don't know. Well, Bobby's appeared a couple times. He counts, but he's our exception. But let me tell you this. Let's look back in all the other seasons. Season 1, we had Bobby towards the end. We had John as a recurring male character. But we didn't have too many recurring characters at all in Season 1. Let's be honest. We didn't have... We had Sam and Dean. And that's what everyone thought. Is the argument to be made. That's what everyone thought the show was about and should be about. I'll come back to that. In Season 2, we have Bobby definitely as a recurring male character. We have Andy, Gordon, we have I'm pretty sure Hendrickson was in there in start of season 2. Basically, we're starting to get more recurring male characters in Season 2. I am leaving someone out, I know, but we have Season 3, in which, again, we have Bobby as a recurring male character. We are starting to, well, Season 3 was an odd time since it was so short. We have, in Season 4 then, Cass. We have Castiel, who, I am getting disclaimer, I adore Cass. I love Cass. This is why I hate comparisons, because it seems like when you do them, you're tearing down a character that you really aren't. We have Cass. We have... Now, Gabriel doesn't pop up again until Season 5, after his prior appearances. We have the Angels in general. We have Zachariah, we have Uriel, we have Crowley's in Season 5. The point is we're starting to get more recurring male characters. And now we have Crowley, as I said, in Season 5. We have Uriel, who was in Season 4. Wow. We have Crowley in Season 5. We have Balthazar in Season 6. We have Raphael. We have all these male characters, but then a lot of them didn't last too long either. So where, you might ask, is the difference? It's in how the fandom has treated them. Go to the wiki. And for several of the recurring male characters, there is a paragraph on each episode they have been in. Go to Wikipedia itself. There is, in general, more detail about them. Female characters, not so much. Go to TV tropes. Under characters who have been in the same amount or less episodes than Bella and Joe and Anna, there is more detail. There is more emphasis. Is this because there's more to them? Not necessarily. Like I said, other people found the same things in these female characters. More than one person. Quite a lot of people found the same things in Joe. It wasn't manufactured. More people found the same things in Anna, and Ruby, and Bella. People have said that they hate Ruby because she screwed over Sam and Dean, which, writing-wise, is a complete other monster that I am not comfortable on tackling right now. But Crowley is still just as beloved, and let's be honest, this whole issue with Cass that everyone hates, this whole thing where what led to what is at this moment in time Cass being written off started with Crowley. And I have seen people, I'm not going to completely generalize. There are people who have cursed Crowley to death, but yet he's still loved a lot more than Ruby. Is it because Mark Shepard, beloved guy? Perhaps. But at the same time, people say we're the defining thing where they hate Ruby. They hate Ruby. is what she ended up doing, starting the apocalypse. What it comes down to is the show was at one time willing to give us a chance, willing to give us female characters with Ellen and Joe at the very start that were they had personality, they had spark, they had something. And it kept trying. And then fandom lashed out. Fandom hated them. Fandom did not give them a chance to show the potential they really had. And now, where does that leave us? With no one. And when it comes down to it, I don't feel comfortable. You could say it's just a show. But, well, let's not dance around it. This is what it is. This is misogyny. If you're doing it on purpose, that's one thing. If you're not, that might even be worse. I'm not saying the entire fandom's like this. There are beautiful portions of this fandom, and I adore it. But the problem is, when you can't really see yourself in a show, it gets a bit uncomfortable. And then I, as a member of the queer community as well, can't see myself in that either. Can't see myself in the fandom representation because I have gotten uncomfortable with the way people portray characters in general. I've gotten uncomfortable with the way that female characters are portrayed. I've gotten uncomfortable with doubts thinking that the reason why there is so much homosexual pairing prevalent, so much slash, is because, well, they're not a girl. And it's more to it than that. Characters do share profound bonds. They do care for each other. But why can't girls care for guys too? Why can't girls be personalities? Why can't they be more than just their gender, which is what everyone seems to be judging them on? We had a chance in the beginning. And now it just seems like the writers, we did not trust the writers. And now the writers do not trust themselves. At least that's how it started. To create female characters that were like, Kripke said it himself, female characters can only be antagonists, he said. Where's that gotten us? Is there any hope? Is there any chance? I just want people to recognize that maybe what they're doing, it's misogyny. It's judging a character based on their gender. You need to judge characters, but not in this sense. This has been long and rambly and is reaching 20 minutes now. So, yeah, this is just my thoughts in general on the treatment of female characters in fandom. What do you have to say? What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? A lot of this has been done with some planning, but a lot is just feeling, so I'm sorry for all of the little slip-ups. I'm sorry for the ramblings. I'm not used to vlogging myself, but essentially, welcome to the calm. Welcome to what we discuss, and this is a safe place where you can talk about anything. It's the blog, I should say. Used to LiveJournal. But you can talk about anything that has made you feel marginalized, like I have, like others have, in sense of race, religion, sexuality, gender. Open game. Again, I'm Ashley, and if you've held on this long, I congratulate you. Thanks. See you around Tumblr.